It's tea time. We're talking about all things tea today. We're looking at different types of tea, and we have a special deal for you today. Products by Vita-Aid, energy tea, calming tea, detox tea. I could go on and on. High blood pressure tea, everything that you possibly can think of. And only for just 299 rands, you get to select 6 packs of your own, of your choice. You can mix and match as much as you want to. It really is a great deal, especially for people who love tea. Tea time,
like me.
Like you, of course.
Well, I think this just like, fires me up because, having been brought up by a grandmother who loved tea, I think for me, like people enjoy their wine, I'm that person who enjoys his tea that way. That's how much I love tea. Like you rightfully said, tea time. Any time is tea time, right?
Anytime.
So we're ready for tea now.
So let's go on to our high blood pressure tea.
High blood pressure. So we're looking at controlling blood pressure. So if you're not on medication, and of course your doctor has said, help yourself through diet.
Yes.
And obviously you cut down on salt, which is sodium chloride, and then you start eating much more healthy. And now we are offering you a very good tea with all these teas that are put together, very good studies that you find in terms of how they're. So you are reducing blood pressure, also anti-inflammatory effect. But when you look at it, 2 ingredients, rooibos and the hibiscus. Hibiscus, very good studies in terms of making sure that it gets rid of excess water as a diuretic. So if you've got too much water and blood, you see when you look at pressure, you're looking at volume as well. So it's very key to make sure that at times you now get rid of excess water, or that be working as a diuretic, and that cuts down on the total volume, and that helps you with your blood pressure. But very key, what I like about that, because when you talk about blood pressure, there's always 2 readings that you talk about. You talk about the systolic and the diastolic. The studies have shown that it reduces both readings. So the top reading and the bottom reading of the blood pressure reading, it affects both and it reduces. So for me, hibiscus works very well when it comes to reducing your blood pressure. So this is something that you can use to make sure that you can then control your blood pressure without medication, especially if you are still at that stage where your doctor has said use diet to help yourself reduce the blood pressure.
One of the important things that we always emphasize is health and wellness. So the question I'm going to ask you is, when was the last time you went to a wellness or health and wellness clinic? And do you even know how your body is structured and where you stand as far as blood pressure is concerned? So you need to take control and actually know what's going on. Usually, Jumo, how often should one do checkups?
Well, if you do not have a challenge, I exercise a lot, so I always find it important for me to check myself every day. So before I exercise, I check, and then after exercise, I check how has it been affected, because exercise will tend to, affect the blood pressure in the interim, and then you just see how the body is responding, how quickly you're getting to that, to control it. But if you've got blood pressure challenges, you will find that depending on how bad it is, your doctor will also advise you on how often you should measure yourself to check, because you need to, in fact, invest in a good blood pressure machine. And these days, there's wrist machines that are very easy to use, that you just press a button and it gives you the reading.
All right, and all you have to do to buy yours right now is dial us on 0861 000 173. Now, once again, let's bring clarity to the issue of who exactly drinks this tea, because once again, it will be an issue of, I have to be diagnosed with high blood pressure for me to drink this tea. Is that the question?
No, it's not actually. You look at it, we're living a stressful life, and most of the times, if you tend to get headaches because of stress and running around, I would actually advise you to say, look, that's a very friendly tea. It's not going to overdo things. It's just going to make sure that it just helps you to balance out your blood pressure. And if you are someone who's athletic, I also advise you to then get a blood pressure machine. Then you can be checking yourself. And this, if you find yourself in readings that are close to that and you're really not on the high side, this will be a nice way of assisting yourself to just make sure that you keep things under control.
We learn new things every day, different ways of taking better care of ourselves. From myself and Jumo, it is bye-bye.
We can carry on enjoying the tea. There we are.
Bye.
Bye.